came to get down, so let's run it up. Flow too real, hit 'em with a rhythm rhyme. Tim song, 'cause it's cold in the wintertime. I'm a boss, yeah, you know that I'm finna shine. Got the money in the bank like it's intertwined.
What's going on, fellas? This is Leo and AJ. We're here to stream some charts, talk markets, and to see where it goes. Obviously, we had an election last night, and so the market has moved. We had established a balance area when was this? The 25th, we started, had a bunch of overlapping values. So autoplot from OFL would have auto drawn this, and this volume profile over here to the right is anchored to the start of that balance area. So you can see what that VWAP right there is aligned with that as well. Then we had that liquidation event, or just, that little sell-off a few days ago on the 31st. Balanced here and built out this little distribution. We had kind of a double distribution look. And, I had this area kind of marked as line in the sand for continuation lower, just on my own homework stuff. And we blew through that and then have continued to push to the upside. So we're at the top of the balance area that was established a few weeks ago and tested prior week high this morning. So you can see that up here. So we had an open drive this morning, open test drive, I would say. Failed that, and then sellers really couldn't push it any further below this 5-minute range, this 5-minute opening range, and then found ourselves testing this again just before we started this stream, and we're seeing a bit of a pullback at this point. So really interesting open, considering all the news, information and whatnot. I'm not reading too much into it, but I guess it does kind of make sense that we would balance out. We do have FOMC tomorrow, so there's more data to come, more information to come out, and so that's kind of where we stand. So at least in NQ, that's what I'm looking at. So I'll flip it over to your screen, AJ, and you can go down the list on what you're looking at there.
Sure. So ES basically, it traded its entire month's range in the past 48 hours. Right, we did have that liquidation. We had a little bit of selling Monday, where we straight up tagged previous month low to the tick. We had that trend day up yesterday, and then obviously last night we ripped up all the way through the top of the previous month high, making a new all-time high in ES. So we've kind of been, I guess, October kind of this is a 30-day rolling profile. So over the last 30 days, we've been, there's been some trend moves, but we've been kind of we've been hanging out in a range in the 700 to 800s, and we just ripped right through it. ES had a bit of a we didn't have an open drive like NQ did. We had a bit of an open auction, and drove down from there, caught a bid at 900. And I think the thing that was really interesting to me is, I was kind of watching NQ. NQ's, got back above its previous month high twice. It made a new high a day. And just like these 38s, 37s in ES, someone was just, you can kind of see that, like, even off the open, someone's just been kind of sitting here. So I think it's pretty interesting that we're kind of moseying on down right now. When I zoom out a little bit, I can certainly see a reason. Looks like it would be a pretty clean test of the previous week high. Could be a good target for shorts, and maybe a good long entry. So right here, 93. I think that's an interesting spot. But yeah, I mean, obviously with the election, there's a lot of information coming out, but you zoom out a little bit, pretty bullish. But I mean, intraday, when you zoom back into what's happening right now, it's kind of just what we've made big moves up and down so far this morning. So nothing to really take away from that. Kind of makes sense that we're getting a bit of a pause here, considering this. Right, this is like a. Let's see where we open. We opened at like 810, so it's like a 150 point rally in ES. So taking a break is a logical thing to do. I do think that, like I said, I think if we continue, right, we're currently just like kind of, grinding down. I think a sweep of the IB and tag of the previous week high could be a good long. And if I was short right now, that would be like my target for runners.
What's that gray box on your execution chart?
This one?
Yeah.
This is the 5 minute range.
Oh, so you don't even you abandoned me in the 5 minute mid, huh?
I know. I mean, it's around here.
Whatever.
Yeah, I don't need the line out. Listen, you like to delete lines. I can visualize where the mid is. I know where I have a mental mid.
You are a mid.
I just don't want, and you put all that documentation out there about your setup, and people keep asking you every day about it. I remove the mid so people don't ask me. They can go to you. You can be the mid guy.
Fair enough.
People want to know about the 5 minute opening range, mid reoffer. You go to Leo for that. It's funny, actually. I'll just. Are you still on my chart?
Yeah.
On my NQ chart, I do have it still.
Oh, nice.
The 6 minute opening range. Don't look. I haven't looked at that one. Maybe there's alpha there.
Let's not go down the rabbit hole, okay?
Okay. How about this? Is this better for my
6 minute,
voice?
7 minute, 10 minute. Look, you can use whatever minute you want. I use the 5 minute. We fixed your voice.
Oh, okay. Maybe I got too close there.
I had to turn it up on my end.
But yeah, right now, I feel like I may have missed a trade right here. This little once we got kind of back under that 5 and OR, this little reoffer here, 24. I mean, I wasn't really, last night was my wife and I's anniversary, so we are kind of like up later. I had no intention of kind of trading the open post election, so wasn't really expecting to be super active today, but and we're certainly getting some movement. I think I wouldn't say there's a little bit of an LVN here, kind of 22s, 25s. I mean, this is the setup I should have been taking if I wanted to be short. Kind of seems like the pace is chilled out a bit though from the open.
Yeah, it's definitely the violence has dropped.
Mm-hmm. We do have a 30-year bond auction later.
We do have that at 12 Central. Did I trade election? I did. I took a few trades, and then it was kind of boring just because it was just going in one direction. And so like I did buy and get long and take profit up into like the 420s, 430s, and then I quit, and then I woke up and obviously that was a pike. But hi Bazilla. Yeah, so I don't know, when the market just goes one direction all night, it's just kind of boring for me. I'd rather do something else. AJ, did you trade?
No. I I used to mess around with Globex a little bit earlier in my trading career, and I just found that I would just burn mental and emotional capital, and then not, by the time, like, there's nothing worse than like waking up early and like, oh, I'm on the East Coast, so like waking up at like 3 or 4 a.m. to trade like the London Open, and then it doesn't move, and so you're up way too early. Maybe you take some boredom trades because you got up, so you're not going to just watch it, and then you start RTH in a hole on not a lot of sleep. So I learned that lesson pretty quickly. It wasn't a mistake I made too many times. Globex is just not for me.
I agree. I'm not a Globex person.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather hang out with my wife and kids.
Right. Beauty of futures is we get plenty of leverage. So even though the markets trade 23 hours a day, there's really, in my opinion, if you're doing things right, you don't need to be in front of the desk 23 hours a day. So.
And the best part about last night is that, and this morning, there's so many memes that are coming out that are just so great.
Yeah. Lots of memes, lots of distractions.
Yes. I have another question since we're looking at your chart again, and I'm just going to ask it. What is this teal thing that looks like a moving average? It certainly isn't not a moving average, is it?
It is a moving average.
Oh my. Tell the people about this.
I don't really know what to say about it. It's just a moving average. So I don't. I've talked to someone recently that kind of uses EMAs to identify trend and momentum, and this is not what they're looking at. But I kind of just I like to follow trend and momentum, and I guess I put them on here to see if there was. I've been messing with moving average for like a little bit, even before, like over the last 6 months, and I'm just kind of using it to make sure I'm not really fading anything I shouldn't be, right? So like, the lighter one is the shorter time frame one, and the darker one is longer. It's just like based on, this is just like overlaid right on my execution chart. There's no secret sauce here. When I kind of see the lighter one expanding away from the big one, I'm not really looking to fade that. Vice versa. It's like, I guess I'm not like a MACD expert, but I know part of MACD is like measuring the difference between two moving averages. So like, I'm not doing the MACD math. Like this at the bottom is not MACD. This is the tape reader, which is order flow. But I'm just, as the difference between those is increasing, that's showing me that a trend is kind of active. So I'm never stepping in front of it, which is like already something I do, but it's just like kind of nice to have something on my chart that just keeps me honest. It's nothing serious. I'm not like using moving average crossovers for anything. It's just, hey, like when this is happening, like I'm never gonna be short while this moving average is really like expanding away from the other one, and like vice versa to the downside. That's it. I wish there was something cooler I could tell you. I won't. I have to. I mean,
I'm
full
just
disclosure.
listening to you ramble
Yeah.
on about a moving average.
Yeah.
It's so great.
I have spent a lot of time a couple weeks ago when I first started looking at this stuff. I was deep in the weeds on.
On the moving averages.
I was looking at the moving averages. I was looking at the slope of the moving averages. I was even for like a 30-minute period. I was looking at the slope of moving averages. Uh, so I had to admit I did get in
Second
there, but
and
I
third
didn't.
order stuff. I like
Yes,
it.
we are derivative moving average slopes. So yeah, I looked and I tried to come up with some, automate I'm always looking to see if I can come up with something I can automate or, what like an actual set signal. Haven't found anything. I'm not haven't given up on it. I went so deep into it for like a week. I just need to take a break because I'm not that I know how to write in CR chart, I'm pretty good at this point with like writing the study alert conditions, but I'm not great at it. So it takes me a lot longer than it probably would someone who's more comfortable. So after I, put in like 40, 50 hours, I didn't really get anywhere. I'm like, all right, let's just take a beat. At the end of the day, I'm a discretionary trader. What I have now is just a way that I can look at it to use discretion. And that's enough for me for the moment.
Are you guys, let's see what the chat thinks. Are you guys bullish on AJ's implementation of moving averages or not? And then somebody said, AJ, rather than moving averages, have you tinkered with leg-to-leg VWAPs for one or two swings?
Oh, yes, definitely.
And I don't see any leg-to-leg. I see leg-to-legs. I don't see any VWAPs. I certainly do. That's something that I shared a few weeks ago, and yes, that's incredibly powerful in my opinion. But where are they at on your chart?
I used to have them so like on my leg to leg. So this profile here is like a leg to leg profile. I used to have the anchored VWAP like set, so like it would always whenever this was showing, the anchored VWAP would also show.
That's how mine is.
I kind of moved away from that and I started using just the dedicated anchored VWAP study. So like there are certain times like I can just go and like basically point where I want the VWAP anchored to and it'll just stay there. So I kind of started doing that one because I don't want to see when I put the moving averages on. So I had these moving averages, I had RTH VWAP, and then I had anchored VWAP, and it was a lot of squiggly lines. So I just had to I'm like, all right, like what's more important to me right now? At the moment, I'm prioritizing moving averages over anchor VWAPs. But when I see a leg that when we get a trend leg, like if this was a trend day, I would have an anchored VWAP running from the kind of swing higher low that the trend started from, and I'd work from that. But since we're kind of rotational, I don't care about it as much.
Somebody said they were bearish on your P&L. That was rude.
That's fair. I mean, if you don't like moving averages, you could be bearish.
All right, we're gonna flip charts because the people don't like your chart.
That's fine.
No, I'm in the process right now. So this chart book that you're looking at will be my main chart book when I'm finished with it. So the only thing I have in here right now is the DOM, obviously, the TPO, a 30-minute, and then the execution chart. Don't need much more than that. I just don't have all of the bells and whistles of the OFL studies. So I don't have the liquidity zones yet. I saw Brian ask about that. So I can't have an opinion on that. I mean, there's tons of selling up there. We exhausted into it. That created the IB. We came and tested it, and we saw this delta flip here. So I assume there's a liquidity zone somewhere up here, maybe on this leg, this little pullback. but yeah, I mean, for right now, we have a bit of a balanced day so far. So I wouldn't mind taking a look at a short up there if the order flow looks good. Somebody also asked to use the recent bid and ask on your DOM, and I don't, but I do have this column right here, and I think there's a way to turn on the crosshairs for the DOM, but I'm not going to waste my time there. You can see here there's a column that has a kind of a grayish background. That's actually a volume profile that we created. So that's the OFL volume profile, and it's leg to leg based on a, let's see. Oh yeah, I need to really enhance the, this is 8 points for some reason. So I need to update that. I'll probably set it to 20. The volume profile on the left was 30. So I'm going to sync these up so they're on the same rotation amount. So yeah, so this will be rotation based from a leg to leg standpoint for the delta. So this is bid and ask volume, which basically takes the recent bid and ask volume, really, does the math and figures out the delta for you, and then prints the delta. So you don't have to, look at, 2 columns of recent bid and ask volume and try to figure out, what's going on where. So that's what that is. And then this volume profile is just a standard volume profile. It just has the same rotation amount. So they're going to match up. So you can kind of watch, when you get to that spot where you're looking for, a trade, then you can clue in over here and see what volume is doing, what deltas are doing, and then the pull stack here on the left the left of the scale. So that's what, so if my chart looks completely different than last time or the other times, if if you're not getting like the same prints that I'm getting, like if you're an OFL, it's because I'm still building this out. So I'm, so that's where I'm at on this. So it's kind of a skeleton chart book right now, but I figured I'd, yank it out, and I've changed a few things, on the DOM. I used to use separated pull stack. So I would have the bid on one side and the offer on the other, kind of on the other side of the price. So that's an adjustment for me. So the more screen time I can get looking at this view, the better. Would the gap between the moving averages be considered fair moving average value gap?
Yes.
That's big brain question if I've ever heard of one.
That is certainly the technical term. That's what I'll be calling it going forward.
Fair moving average value gap. Ooh, that's a word salad.
So we did kind of come up to this 5-minute high. Hold on a second.
Gary, you should probably trademark that. Sounds
sorry. My wife takes every call on speakerphone and screams at the top of her lungs when she talks to those people. So
it must be a New Jersey thing.
Yeah.
Did you want me to switch to your chart?
No, because I missed it. I missed the short. What I was saying is that I liked those mid-20s, but we kind of, from a volume perspective, volume profile, I wasn't too sure. Like we have this, I mean, you can switch over to my chart so people can see what I'm talking about.
All right. Your chart is on.
So, I was looking at like basically the 5-minute low here. As we kind of came into it, sorry, let me just, So I was kind of watching, like, as we were kind of coming in here. So this is, I just drew up right here. This is the delta profile of this kind of leg up. Didn't really see any absorption like at the top here. So that's why I didn't consider initial short here. Then once we got above, there was a bit of absorption, and we do have like a little bit of a ledge here, but I just I don't really love getting short kind of like right below POC, right? This 32 has been like kind of magnetic, so I figured, it looks like we could have been like, we made a low here, rebid here, kind of rebid the same spot. I'm like, well, I wonder if we're just going to kind of come back up to these mid high 30s, and maybe that's a better short. And I don't love the volume structure here. I don't really feel like I have anything super clean to lean on. Like, I mean, there's a little bit of a, I guess you can call it like a ledge here, but it's just not. I wasn't comfortable kind of leaning on that, but it would have paid out a little bit. So I still think it kind of looks like we're gonna get a tag maybe of 30s again. And NQ kind of got like. NQ got above. NQ, I guess, has pocket 50. There's a little bit of low volume here at like 57, 58. And then the structure, I wouldn't say is super significant up until you get the previous month high again. So I thought NQ was going to get a bigger push as well. So basically, I thought that both NQ and ES were going to get a bigger push before sellers step back in, but that's not what happened. When there's like news like this, not news, like, there's news like the election stuff. It's hard for me to, if I don't have super clean structure, I'm a little hesitant because, I'm using, order flow, auction theory logic, and like at any moment, if someone says something or some news comes out about the election real quickly, the structure I'm leaning on doesn't matter, right?
Right.
So that's kind of why I'm exercising a little bit more caution, being a little bit pickier right now. I don't want to take any B trades when, someone announces a lawsuit, right? And then the algos go crazy and I'm kind of caught my pants down. So I want to be a little bit pickier about my trades.
I'm going to watch this area and then queue for a minute. Saw some selling coming into the 752, but then we're still pushing against it. So I just want to see what.
I'm not sure how much it matters on a day like today. I mean, if there were any day where the stats might not play would play out to the minority side, obviously one of the big stats that I think I like to keep in mind is that, more often than not, one side of the overnight range gets tagged. And ES, the overnight low is about 100 points lower.
The overnight high hasn't wait. ES hasn't taken out the overnight high?
No. Not even, we haven't even looked above our 5-minute high.
Really?
Yep. ES has 42.
Let's see this. I'm gonna start a little short here. It might be an adventure as short. An adventurous short. If we get going, I may add. Start small. Just have this decent. There's even more on the offer with the exhaustion from Delta Map. put two more on, so I've got 4. It's almost a similar setup to the one we were on last week, where you have these, kind of equal highs. We're getting a bit of offer absorption right here. But every time they press, we rotate down just even, a couple of points, the bid is continuing to refresh. So that makes me think the stop out is going to happen. All right. It was worth a shot.
The one thing that I'm kind of looking at here is both Q and ES kind of have like a rebid kind of playing out right now.
I'm taking this again. Yeah, I see what you're looking at.
So NQ's obviously like kind of making higher highs and higher lows. ES is made a higher low. And like I mentioned, that overnight high has not gotten tagged. And I would be pretty surprised. I guess I would be surprised. Nothing's going to surprise me today. But I would think if we get another strong push here through POC and upper end of value, I think at least a pop of the IB high would be on deck.
Yeah, I just took myself out.
I didn't mean to scare you.
No, I mean, I still kind of like it. To be honest, I'm just not 100% sure.
Yep.
Just gonna watch it.
So let's see here. Oh yeah, NQ traded its overnight high right off the bat.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we basically opened barely, just under it, so it wasn't hard.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't a hard task for NQ.
NQ hasn't really been kind of doing that thing where it's like directional grinding up, like ever since I would say, yeah, even though we rallied, like looks like the move up was a bit more violent in ES than it was in NQ.
Overnight?
Yeah. I guess
because you guys have
same luck.
all-time highs.
Yeah.
NQ still has some resistance. All right, well, I tried that spot twice, cut it the second time early. Still going to be watching for an offer to come in here and give another shot at that trade. Might be happening right now. All right, we'll jump in. So I want to see what happens down here at 75 where they were, that offer was here, pushed against, and then the bid kept reloading. They're doing kind of the same thing right now. So I might just be shorting into kind of a slow grind, but the idea behind this is we're at, potential resistance. We've got some offer delta here. We did get a small reaction, so I am a little bit late, but that's pretty much the main idea.
Are you kind of leaning short more just because we've had a rotational day so far?
Right. Yeah. So rotational day so far, getting some decent size offer delta. Just looking for maybe a rotation back through value.
Mm-hmm.
So I would target the volume point of control and then the value area low.
Right.
See what they do here at 75. Came right into that 75, and those bids came right back in like they were previously.
The two date types are safe to trade and not safe to trade.
That's funny.
All right. So here's my real opinion about date types. It's that a lot of people just try to extrapolate what's going to happen for the next 4 hours based on what's happened in the first hour or two. And I think that's not smart. Or it's not that it's not smart. It's like, I don't know, like, where I've watched either NQ or ES every day for the better part of 4 or 5 years at this point. And I've just seen the day type change so often that I can't see any way that it's not that, all right. So it's not that I think it's impossible. It's that the people that I think are saying like, oh, well, because it's done this, it's going to do that. I've never seen any stats to back it up, and I've never seen any anecdotal proof to back it up. So as far as I can tell, it's just people like talking out of their ass. Could it be true? Sure. Maybe it's true and I'm the dumb one. But until I start noticing it or someone shows me like concrete stats to back it up, I'm going to assume that, like many other things in trading, it's just someone repeating something that they read in a book that was written in the 80s. And that's what they're basing their entire trading.
What are you ranting about now?
Day types.
What about them?
Someone's like, oh, someone said AJ said that there are no date types.
Oh.
So it's not that there's no date types. It's like, if you're going to try and predict it based on what happens in the IB, like if you're just going to like, oh, the IB's balanced, like,
do you see this bid coming in here in the 90s? You guys should.
Yeah, I'm watching them
disgusting.
sell it, and I'm watching them sell ES, and it's going up.
Yes, this is gross.
Yeah. So that's I won't I've ranted about this a bit, so I won't keep going because Leo wants to watch the bid, but um, just know that the environment changes intraday, so just don't assume just because first hour of the session is balanced that you should just be fading every edge because
Somebody needs to let this go. Go.
I think it's happening in real time. It is going. The direction is up.
Yeah, I don't want it to go that way.
My tape reader has been negative.
They are going to stop me out. Okay. Well, that's trading, guys. We took 3 losers. And I'll take a 4th. I'm not afraid of it. I'll take a 4th. The thing is if we get into a short that gets some momentum behind it, we can add some size onto it, and then that'll really give us a skewed risk to reward. I feel like somebody ruined the term risk to reward recently, so I have to come up with a better term.
Are you implying that was me, or is it someone else?
Somebody else. First 3 minutes balanced. Fade every edge. All right.
My tape reader is negative.
Starter
Starter short.
Starter short. Get
Looks
below.
like there's a couple thousand lots of offer absorption up there.
I know.
Yes, it's kind of
get below this 90s. Got to get below these 90s where they were reloading here. Right here. Watch what happens here. Look at that. Come on. You know you want to. Who's sitting there? Who is doing this to me? Oh my goodness.
That's a fat ledge.
Right? And you saw, you could see real time the bid just come right back in.
I don't have the NQ down up, but I just kind of looked and I'm like, oh, that is a ledge. That's a big boy ledge there. ES is having a really hard time making a downtick.
Yes, it was NQ.
It's actually pretty interesting. It's been mostly selling in ES. I'm not a cumulative delta guy, but it looks like it would be pretty negative right now. Any cumulative delta people out there want to confirm what the cumulative delta is? I'm sure there's some of you watching.
Oh, they're stuck. Oh, nice. I like it when they stick offer right on my entry. I'm short. And they're just eating it up. This is the torment you go through when you actually know how to read order flow.
When you see it and
You
it
could
doesn't make
see
sense.
and understand, like why your trade may not work. Sometimes you just have to ignore it. I just want offer 90. I want 90 to go offer. Here, I'm going to take one off. Why is my thing? Maybe I need to fix that. New DOM, don't know what to do.
I
Skip
only
below
use
90.
the
That's all we need.
I only use the RTH
There we go.
profile.
Come on. You gotta be kidding me, guys.
Well, it looks like they tagged 89.
They did. You're right.
So you got what you asked for. I used to look at I'll look at the overnight session like as I'm kind of going through my morning prep, but at the end of the day,
There we
I'm
go. What do we think? This VWAP's going to hold. This is an anchored VWAP from this leg right here. There's a lot of offer delta up here now. I would like to see this get below this anchored VWAP. Not nice. I'm just gonna take 2 off for victory. I can claim victory. Maybe I'll take a single. This is I'm just annoyed. It's an annoyance. Take profit of 10 points or whatever.
We bid right off of the prior all-time high in SPY.
There we go.
I don't really look at SPY, and it's mostly because I'm not very smart. So the less I have to bring it to my decision making, the better. But you know what? I always said that I would never look at it like now. I have an NQ chart up to kind of aid in my ES decision making. So maybe I'm a little smarter than I thought, and I could handle it. But that's not something I've looked into yet. I'm glad they took out that ledge for you. I think I could sense that you needed that relief.
It was really bothering me. I feel like the same short we took last week took just as long, if not longer, to materialize. And that ended up, so if you guys were here, that ended up marking the intraday high, and we liquidated that afternoon. Like, it went down 300 points. And I scratched like the last piece of it for like 10 points because I thought I was going to get stopped out.
Or so you call on high? This is high day now.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying that that's
You
what
heard it here
happened.
first. Leo calls high day.
we should see this ledge right here at 90 become resistance. And if it doesn't, I'm going to call the market makers and have a discussion with them.
So, excuse me, sirs. You guys are not making markets the way I'd like them to be. So fix it. It looks like so NQ was kind of had like those 70s were resistance a little bit, and it looks like we're kind of bidding out of there now, right? Is that right?
Yeah. You be quiet with that talk.
I mean, I got nothing. ES is just a straight vertical grind. There's nothing. We're on POC. There's
Are you
nothing-
really?
Yeah.
Oh,
And not only that, it's grinding up while market selling is dominant.
I love that for me.
That bid is there. 30's long. I would be long if ES would come down more than like 4 ticks.
Is it really doing? Let me look at your chart. Okay.
I think this is the tell here.
Yeah.
Right. This little rebid is then you've got obviously, you know, off the open. This is a spot where we're off for it. Rebid here. I don't think this high is safe in ES.
I'm down to 1. I'm probably gonna scratch this the last one out. I mean, not scratch it. I'll just take it out before I get stopped. Unless they do one of those God candles against me. Why are people using that term now?
Oh, is that a thing?
I think so, yeah. But it's it's only a God candle when it goes up. When it goes down, I don't know. What did we call it?
A Satan candle.
A Satan candle?
Yeah.
I don't really love this trade. Just you know, for those watching, listening, wondering why I'm short here. ES is grinding. We're still, you know, pushing new highs. I just wanted to take a stab at, you know, this absorption and see if it would take a trip down back through value. But now that we're back up here, I'm gonna get out of this. No point in fighting a market that's grinding higher until we get a better, you know, a better setup. And for me, that would be like I would have to see some exhaustion with some real counter selling versus what we're seeing there. But yeah, the idea just being, are they going to do that? Oh, they're going to do that to me again. Oh my God. I hate this. I hate this market.
You are the Godfather Part 3. Once they think I was out, they pull me back in. Being right now.
I know. Yeah, so I don't love this trade, but still every time we push up into there, that little last poke was quite exhaustive. It was a bit of an exhaustive look, but I don't know.
Would AJ and the ES, would you say the selling has been well above average, above 5,900 these past few weeks and today? Let's see. When was the last time we were above 5,900? Talking about go back until October. I mean, listen, 1500 was definitely like clear resistance, and now that we're above it, I mean, I think the thing that's interesting is like I said, I'm not a cumulative delta guy. I never use it, but it seems pretty obvious. Like my whole ES profile, besides like a couple spots, it's all bid delta dominant right now, and we're trading near the high of the day currently. I think it's interesting that I mean, I guess it's not. It shouldn't be surprising, right? Like you have this massive move up overnight, and then we're balancing at the high end of that rotation. And there's, I guess it's profit taking. I don't know. I'm not going to interpret why people are selling, but logically, you get a big move up, you get a counter response. Maybe there's some profit taking, maybe some new sellers entering the market. I can't ascertain the intention behind these orders. But like when I see that there's all this market selling and we're not going down, to me it just tells me that there's a really strong interest in passively bidding up the market. So like, sure, there's aggressive selling, but there is more than enough passive buying to kind of eat that all up and help prices trade higher. We have we so like, is it weird that we are above 900 and mostly being sold and traded higher? I mean, not really, but it's to me, it's like that's why I'm not really interested in being short, even though all of the volume has been being spent, being built in like under the 5 minute range. Like there's clearly a very strong bid in the market right now, and it's a strong bid in the market following a really strong move up overnight. Um, so yeah, I don't know if I don't think is it well above average? I guess so. Not really sure how to answer that part of the question, but it does stick out to me today that the market's being like sold with relative dominance, but we're still moseying on up here. I would if it wasn't the day post election with a massive rip up, and if it weren't for all this negative delta here, I'd honestly be considering a short in this spot in ES. But to me, the biggest clue that I'm getting from an order flow perspective in ES is that it doesn't matter who's dominant. The prices are kind of. It looks like we're becoming pretty interested in trading higher, but. I mean, we all, there's also, like Leo said, there's FOMC tomorrow, so we might not get any more expansion today. We do have a, 40-point range so far? I mean, I have, right, like, my chart is telling me that I should be looking for shorts, but my gut and what I'm seeing on the time in sales has me wanting to look long. So I'm trying to figure out how to reconcile the fact that my eyes are telling me kind of two different things right now. I'm usually not like, if we're not trading, if we can't even get above the 5 minute high, like we have not traded a single tick above the 5 minute high in ES. And that's generally when that happens, I'm not long. But I mean, sellers aren't really getting it done. Oh yeah, I mean, overall is very high. This is probably going to end up being one of the. Well, you know what? Average daily. Well, that's art. I look at daily volume based on RTH only. I'm sure if you look at the full 24-hour volume, this is a very high,
Yeah, I think it
very
was
high
like
volume day.
200 this
Yeah.
morning.
Right.
My mind, I was thinking the same thing.
And
My mind is telling me no, but my body.
my mind is telling me short, but my body's telling me bye. I wish I could. I mean, we are just hanging out right on POC, barely. Like I'm looking at my Dom. Like we're just trading 35 to 32 in ES. Like how am I supposed to work that?
Sell 35 and buy 32.
No shot.
Buy
I don't.
32, sell 35.
Maybe that. Maybe that. Yeah, our vol 173. That's a big number.
Man, NQ loves to do this. Just sit, but make some moves, move around, and then just sit here. We have a period turn coming in 15 seconds. And, I mean, could you get any more offer delta? 600. Almost 700 now. Like, you guys need to push the price. There we go. It feels getting a little aggressive. Or maybe I'm just responding because I'm waiting for something to happen.
Just talking his book here.
Yeah. My 4-lot micro really going to move the market.
Mm-hmm.
Same area. We're looking for that 90s to get blown out.
All right, I'm fading Leo long. This is a B trade at best.
Let's see your trade here. You're long, I'm short. Great.
I don't love. I immediately regret this decision.
That's good for me. The last time you tried to do this, you regretted it too. I like it. I like it. Let's watch AJ get stopped out.
Change the pace a little bit here.
Yeah. My trade's working. AJ gets stopped out. That's how this works. We are getting some blood on the tape now. Okay.
I'll take one of these at like 35, 36. I'll take another one at 40 if I can get it. I mean, see what happens here. I don't usually do limits, but I'll put them here so you can kind of see where I'm targeting.
Damn, man. I just cannot sell this thing. Cannot sell it.
Oh my gosh. Don't you dare do that to me.
I put another 2 on on that little push up for NQ, so I got 6 now from 93. I still hate this trade, but I'm gonna trade it like I normally would.
So 36 did get tagged, but I didn't get filled. So that's great. Moved it down a couple ticks to see if I can just want to get one piece off here. So I took one off, 35.5. Looking for 30, 39.40 for another one. If this goes, these other, so I got put on 4. If this goes, I'm probably just gonna hold these other 2 for the overnight high. I think that just kind of looking at this, so I'll zoom out a little bit here. This is just a different volume chart that is a little bit of a zoomed out look.
I think you're wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't feel great, but it is what it is. I'm in it one way or the other. You also need me to be wrong. So a little bit of bias there for you. It's all right. Drive up, balance, liquidate a little bit, bid out of here, bid out of 900. And then we rebid 11, 10, 10s, 11s. And I just think of a sweep of this IB high just seems logical. I don't know if we're going to get it or not. I'm going to take off half my trade before that happens, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Why am I long? I'm long because the market ripped up almost 200 points in the S, and I see the market being sold. Like my tape reader, like look, it's negative, but it's not we're actually going up. So I'm leaning long with the bid that is certainly present. We'll see. Doesn't feel great. This is not a A+ setup for me. I feel like somehow we managed to both be trading in opposite directions and both being not
A+ trades.
Not A+ trades. Which
Well,
probably tells you all you need to know about this spot right here.
Right. It's certainly wound up in NQ for sure. We are consolidating into a very tight range. So,
My favorite part of the stream, Leo fading AJ and AJ fading Leo.
and then I was fading you, fading me by adding.
Oh, did I honestly, I was too focused on myself. I didn't realize you did that. You added? That's beautiful.
But now it's not working, so I don't feel good about it anymore.
Spite ads. Maybe have alpha, maybe don't. I feel like this thing is just waiting for someone to just like start lifting the offer, and it's gonna moonshot.
It's very intense.
I think he's looking to break. Well, I hope so. Leo would probably prefer it didn't. We waiting for the bond auction?
Yeah, probably. They put POC up here in NQ now. Basically 10 points off high day.
Join us. Join us in NQ in ES. Not high a day. It's not quite high a day, but you know what? The NQ one's actually uglier for sure. Where's your stop here in NQ?
Right now it's at 09.
I gotcha.
I'm gonna get stopped. Feel it in my loins. There we go. We took it. Took it like a man. We're back in at 85 though. Not 80, 05.
All right. I took one more piece at like 30. I think it was like 37 and a half. Or we can look. So half off. Let's see, risk is paid for. If I get stopped here, it's just a scratch trade. I will be holding this. I'm looking for a 20 plus point pop from here in ES to get my overnight high target. No idea if that's going to happen or not. I mean, until the 5-minute high gives up, this can easily be whacked down at me. But that's all it's about. Just giving myself a chance to, take some off for a scalp and then pick an ambitious target and just hold it.
Hodl.
Hodl indeed. Shout out to my Bitcoin bag holders. Or I guess you're not really bag holders at this point. You're bag winners. When I look at my chart, when I'm looking at my chart, this is like, it wasn't an A plus trade, but it's a perfectly reasonable trade for me to take. And then for some reason, when I look at that same thing on YouTube, it just looks like I'm some dumbass buying POC at high a day. I don't know why it looks so much dumber when I look at what I'm doing on YouTube. Maybe it's because I see that there's like 70 something people watching us, so I'm like, oh, this is good. Some people are just logging in. They're like, this This jerk is long high a day when they're selling it. That's just trading, baby.
That's what you do best.
That's what I do best. Ugh.
I appreciate that. The podcasts are fun. Cool way to talk shop. Talk shop and make fun of each other.
Just trying to like the thing is like well, something I like to do is like I like to I think I either mentioned this on the podcast or maybe last time we're on stream. When I'm trying to figure out what I should be doing, I always like go to my like highest time frame chart and then kind of work my way down. But there's really nothing to look at the high time frame chart because we're at all time highs, so there's just no data up here.
Yep.
So all I can really do is sit in this trade, pick my line right up here in the 50s. All right, so like if people want to like this is probably where this area. So this overnight high, that's self-explanatory. This blue dotted line is OFL's dynamic ATR study. So basically looks at ATR over either you could look at it for the full session or you could look at it RTH only, and then you put in like the look back period, and it'll automatically, as the session trades, you can see. Well, I think today might be a bad example, but yeah, so you can see that it was like kind of stair stepping down as the range starts to develop. I think they're actually both. You know what? They're not locked. It's just that we need to trade above the IB high for this to adjust more, I think. So, right? Yeah, I think so. So yeah, if we get above the IB high, I think the lower one will start to tighten. But anyway, this is where ATR would be met from the upside at this point. So that's kind of where I'm looking for. It lines up with the overnight high kind of stat. What is it like 80% or what for the overnight high stat?
100% of the time.
100%?
I mean, over the last 6 months, like it's a very like 98% of the time, the one of the overnight high or overnight low will get taken out.
Mm-hmm. Is that for NQ or ES or both?
NQ, I could pull the numbers on ES, but I'm sure I think they're close to the same.
All right, so very high probability that either the overnight high or the overnight low gets tagged. Overnight low in ES is all the way down here. So I don't know.
We'd have to have a wild bond auction for that thing to trade.
That would be I think a bond auction, election interference lawsuit, and COVID 2024 would be enough. All three of those things at once to bring us down there. I think it's a safer bet to target the overnight high here.
I did notice like the other day when we had a huge range expansion overnight that we basically had an inside session we didn't take out either.
Mm-hmm.
But we also did take it out in NQ, so maybe you should factor that into your decision making.
No, I don't think I will. I'm stubbornly holding for my line. What's NQ got? 200. Let's see. 640 to.
Look at all of this offer delta.
I see it. I see it.
Do we have a bear bot in ES? Oh yeah, we did. Just one fired 1 minute ago. Bearish order flow. I'm gonna get redemption because of re-entering the short. Just want the 90s to break again. And I'm sure when we break 90s again, we will go lower than the 80s. Unlike the other two times we've done the same thing.
Trying to decide. So are we still on my screen?
Yep.
I'm just looking at this. This is the leg to leg profiles from basically right here. So like this move up.
Right.
Kind of looking to see. All right, there's obviously clear. The bulk of the volume here is this 32 to 36 area. There's a little bit of notch here. I'm trying to decide if I should be widening my stop or not. I'm also thinking about honestly adding here.
I mean, the way they're holding NQ at the 90s, like their life depends on it.
Mm-hmm. I'll add. Why not? It was a neutral. That was a risk neutral position anyway. So at this point, I guess stopped out. I'm only gonna get stopped out for 6 points, roughly. I will say, the fact that we kind of came up here and like already rejected 37s, 39s, not ideal, but I'm not gonna really overthink anything from like I'm not gonna overthink the auction right now.
Somebody posted a cumulative delta chart for you, AJ.
Oh yeah, what's the cumulative delta in the ES right now?
Yeah, it's just going straight down.
Is negative? Yeah. Interesting. Very interesting.
The last all-time high we had, my mom called and she said that she asked if she should buy the market, and I said,
no.
well, we're at all-time highs, and it was at that moment we rotated down in the market like 10% or 5%, whatever that big correction we had in NQ.
Mm-hmm.
Not big, like, I don't know, little correction maybe. So somebody just asked me if my mom has called yet.
We're all waiting on the ultimate contra indicator here.
Yeah, when family members call, that's a great sign. Once again, asking you fellas in NQ to break 90. Like, you guys realize you can let the market trade below last week's high just for a little bit. It's fine. It's not going to be the end of the world.
It might be though.
Um,
You don't know that for sure.
you're you're right,
The
AJ.
market, if we trade under them, the market might not be here tomorrow. Don't make promises you can't keep. I think I'm gonna get stopped.
Let me know when you do. I'll cover some of this short.
Maybe not.
You know, it was at that moment that they were pressing into 90, and then you
I
said,
know.
maybe not. We could have just bought 90 like 400 times in the last 20 minutes and just taken profit at 08.
I don't want to make things too easy.
RTH VWAP, Leo, target. I don't have RTH VWAP on this chart, but I would be targeting the 80s and then 48
We've got a buy delta flip
and then
in my
720.
direction.
You shh your mouth. We're going lower.
Yeah. That could have been exhaustive.
Kind of had that look, huh?
I mean, it could be. I don't know. We'll see.
But it had that look earlier too, and nothing happened.
Mm-hmm.
So Brian asked about targets, so I just put on some targets here. So 80, then the ledge at 49, and then I would have a runner or two runners for 720s, like the other side of value. That's it. I'm calling Chicago. These market makers are making my life miserable. Tim, the market maker. I'm going to at him on Twitter.
Is that a real person?
Yeah. He's pretty funny. Oh. Well, I don't want to apologize for the market not doing anything and forcing us to take some B trades, but that's what's happening after the day of the post election day. It's kind of frustrating. AJ's long is based on the fact that there's so much selling that we're not going anywhere. And my short is just based on so much offer delta and price really not going anywhere. So we're actually trading the same concept.
The same, just a crappy spot.
Crappy spots. Yep.
No, I got another piece off. I took one of those ads, so I bank 9 points. At the moment, I'm risking 12.
Nice
So
trade, man.
I think that's being a little bit generous for what I'm actually doing here.
You made money?
It could be gone very quickly. All that happens is all that needs to happen is that stupid legend NQ needs to give up, and all this dumb work will be gone. I think, yeah, I think we're gonna get a book above the IB high at least here. I'd be surprised I'd be slightly, so if it was a normal day, I'd be shocked if we didn't, but who knows? Maybe post-election positioning requires 41 to be held at all costs. I'll say it's first time.
I like your tweet. It says, "We're here for the post-election chaos," and there is no chaos.
There is that that tweet probably signaled like a downturn in volume for the day.
Mm-hmm. I got a question for the viewers. What do you guys do while you're waiting for your trade to work or not work? How do you keep yourself get rid of your itchy trigger finger if you have one? Let's hear about it. Do you have any strategies?
Take more trades.
Take more trades. Steve, you and I should be best friends. Play the guitar. Acoustic or electric? Stare at the Dom with 140 heart rate. Real. So real. Cat videos. AJ, do you like cats? Yeah. Do you have a cat?
No, I'm allergic. I'm very allergic to cats.
Electric guitar.
I have a dog.
Where is the market gonna go?
Yeah, so I mean, mine's. I also stare at the Dom. I don't know if my heart rate gets high, but I do give myself a stress headache by physically trying to will the Dom to do what I need it to do. Like right now, I'm staring at the tape, trying to bring in a burst of offer delta, that just rips the book. Trying to manifest a lack of abundance of offer liquidity. In my process and pre-market planning, always define soft distraction activity. Reading articles, nice.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, you definitely do not want to hyper focus on the Dom.
Don't tell me how to live my life.
You're asking for trouble. You should buy a fidget spinner.
I need one of those like stress balls. Give myself carpal tunnel.
No, no. What you need is like desk golf.
Desk golf?
Yeah, like a miniature little putt golf thing on your desk.
Listen, I'm already frustrated in this long. I don't need to frustrate myself playing golf while I'm in it too. You know, the golf game already brings me equal amounts of frustration and joy.
I mean, I bet you'd be a pretty good desk putter though.
You say that. See, desk putter.
Yeah, dude. I'm sure they're like on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
My son, 5-year-old, was talking to his grandmother as they were driving somewhere, and he was like, "I think I'm gonna get a truck when I grow up." She's like, "Yeah, well, you'll have to have a job so you can get money and pay for it." And he goes, "No, I just need a printer so I can print money." I'm like, bro, Jerome Powell is the next Jerome Powell. I just need a printer.
True American.
I don't want to put her near my desk if I know.
That's what I'm saying, Wolf.
No,
No
like
clubbing-
a
no clubbing
miniature, like a putter the size of like a pen, you know,
Mm-hmm.
where you just have to like, you know.
Should order them 10 at a time as I break them.
Yeah, Steve will teach him how to do meme coins.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these new prop firms behave like meme coins. The hyping events and whatnot.
This should be illegal. We have been here. Let's see. We've been on stream at 11. We've been hanging out in this like 5-point range in ES almost the entire time we've been on stream.
76 to 08 in NQ, so 35-ish. Great fun. Get a Zen garden. Do you know, though, if I had one, my son would come in here and, like, dump the sand out on the floor. Guaranteed.
Mm? 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 Come on, Mr. 37. Surely you're not there. Surely you don't want to sell this again right here. Don't you just want to just hang it up and go home?
We're gonna take some ads there on NQ.
Sweet baby Jesus.
Just trading how I trade.
Leo is my bellwether for short side emotional capitulation.
We need like a 1v1 when we do these, where split screen. What do you guys think?
Is that possible?
Dude, anything's possible, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Steve, we had to take it to the dealership, and they had to do some magical work to it. She's all set now. I think what we'll do is, as soon as AJ gets stopped out, we'll flip to my screen.
I don't even know what to make. I have no idea what to make of this. You know, if we sell here, is it just a liquidation break?
I think it's just we're just pausing for that 30-year. Just picked a bad, you know.
Picked a bad spot. Bad time.
I mean, it's starting to look better for me. But I've said that, I think, 6 times. Once again, 90s, bid comes in. You would think a guy like me being able to see that would have covered some of this trade there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's not that I don't, I'm just really surprised. I mean, like Leo said, there is that 30-year auction, which is, I mean, I guess important to people. I know it's important. I'm not really a bond guy, so I'm not going to pretend to know why. It's just like it's the biggest bond because that's mortgage rates. Anyway, the pause is not that weird. I guess when I say like I'm not sure what to make of this, right? Like, all right, when I'm watching what's happening and I'm trying to like build the story, it's like, okay, like does it break from this area either way? Is there anything to extrapolate from that? Like if we break to the high side, like are we definitely gonna get the over? Do I think it's very realistic that like all this like contraction for the last hour means we're gonna get the overnight high, or can it simply just be like just a pop of the IB high and drop? I'm taking this. I'm taking one more here. I can't watch this 38 be sold again and not take some. So I guess, there's a pop here. We get like, should I expect this over? Like, I think from a statistical standpoint, like this is very high probability that the overnight high gets tagged. But do I think that what's happening here makes that likely, or is it just a pop and drop? On the other side, like let's say, like right now I'm long. I'm not necessarily married to longs, but that's the direction I'm trading in right now. If we don't drop, let's say we just get a liquidation break, right? Because we've been hanging out up here for a while. Buyers aren't getting any follow through. Maybe sellers take it. Like, is this would a push it to this 5 minute low and like the 20s be a buyable dip, or is this more? Would this what's happening now make me think that a move to the downside would be more than just a quick liquidation break to buy? So that's kind of where my head's at. Just trying to. That's why when I say I don't know what to make of it, I get why what's happening is happening. Like I get why we're pausing. It's fine. I just don't know what to make. How to extrapolate information from what's happening right now. I don't think there's really, because of all the election and bond market, FOMC. There's probably not worth overthinking.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you can take the information from the market, like we're consolidating here before data being 30-year bond auction.
Mm-hmm.
So that tells you that the market is very, my interpretation at least, is that the market is really interested in how that bond auction trades.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like a wait and see, pause.
Right.
And then watch us get to that bond auction and we do nothing. Then that will just be
Take that back. Remove that from the ether.
It will be time to go work out and stuff. That will be what that means. Yeah, you could look at it as accumulation.
Mm-hmm.
That's, we come into a period of balance before we move into a new period of imbalance. So
Yeah.
you can call it whatever.
Yeah, man, the thing about it is, like, if I get in a trade and it starts to chop, it like depends, because like I said, like this chop isn't necessarily a bad thing. Like we are potentially building energy for
Right, for sure.
another leg up, or if I'm wrong, another leg down. So when I get into would like I'm sure you can see. I mean, you can see my fills. What I do when I'm in chop, I'm just scalping. Like I'm paying for the risk at this point. I could put my stop all the way down here and scratch out of the trade. So I've paid for the risk, and I've got an ambitious target. If it goes, that's great. And I think something that I mean, I don't, like I said, it makes for a boring stream, but kind of getting long a tight balance range and then having a very high probability upside target. It's not a bad thing. So I definitely don't want to just take minimal profit. I mean, that's what this is for. This scalping is for the minimal profit. Now this is for my target. Okay, tag the IB. That could be either exhaustive or it's time to party. I'm not sure yet. Right now it looks very exhaustive.
Q just filled up the offer when that pop.
Yeah. I'm gonna give it a moment, but why do I say it looks exhaustive? Like when you have this strong burst of I'm highlighting the tape reader down here under my DOM. So you have this massive burst of buying that it's immediately met with selling. If it's going to get continuation, yeah, like I want to see this building back up again. I don't want to see this and then it's just like red for the next like several minutes. That's a bad sign. So if it's going to keep going, I want to see this stay blue, this right edge of this tape reader stay blue, because that means that they bought it. A little bit of profit taking, a little bit of a counter response, but I want to see this really start to build back up blue again, because that means that that burst of buying is going to be followed by more buying. So now I like what I see, but I need this right here. I need this to continue. If this starts to go red again, I'll probably take one off. I've got one limit here. I've got my finger on the trigger for another one, depending what happens on the tape here.
NQ is pretty close to making a new high. 2 points away.
Yep. I took one. Kind of was watching. Like, so we do have that. It was definitely exhaustive, potentially activity, because you could see that there's an exhaustive bubble there, and you did see it go that big burst of buying followed by selling. The buying did pick up, but as it was kind of nearing zero, that's kind of what caused me to kind of want to just take one. Some of that might be because I've been in this trade for a while. But I think this is a fine place to IB high sweep, possible stop run. This is a fine place to take a little bit of profit. That's almost what I get is 9 points on that lot. Oh, like 8. Not a bad sequence. I got one runner. I'm definitely not gonna leave my stop here. I'll tighten this up a little bit. Give like 4 or 5 points, maybe somewhere like there. That's fine. So I at least don't have to be frustrated that this IB high didn't get taken out. So mission 1 accomplished.
Put a W in the column for
yes,
that.
Put a W in the column for that. I don't know that I expect with this bond auction coming out in this 10 minutes, like I'm targeting this overnight high. I don't necessarily expect us to get there until after the bond auction, if at all. So no matter what, I'm gonna walk away with this with a little bit of money. I mean, it's nothing crazy, but I feel like I made the most of a garbage situation. But yeah, like the tape reader, I think of that sequence is pretty clear, right? We all saw that pop, right? That exhaustive pop right here.
On Delta
So
map as well.
You can see that, right? You see the bubble, and then you see this high burst, followed by the selling that came in. Okay. The reason I held it is because even though the selling came in, the buyers did try to get back in, but as it built up, you could see like it just kind of slowly tapered off, and that's when I ended up cutting that second piece. It doesn't necessarily like we could still keep going higher, but it's obvious that they're not just quite ready yet. So
Dude, I Stowe. It's Stowe that was in there buying the 90s. He just sent me a screenshot. Oh my goodness. That's not even fair. Like, why do you do that to me? Are you watching this?
Oh, that's disgusting.
If you're watching this,
In the best way.
you're not friends anymore. We're not friends anymore.
I mean, he's basically in the same trade that I'm in ES and NQ.
Boy.
This is just how we drew it up. I mean, I think this wants to go higher. Personally. obviously based on my position, talking my book. I don't think ES wants to come back to 30. I certainly don't think NQ wants to come back to 90. I just don't believe it. What is how far are we from all-time highs in NQ?
I don't know. I don't have a daily chart on this chart book.
Wow.
It's brand new. I just started it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Oh, you're right.
Oh, I do have my other chart book open now. Oh yeah, we're not far. All-time highs are 914.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's just one rally away.
We are within striking distance.
I think we close higher today, somebody says. I also think we close higher today. I think it would be great. The best scenario is we make a new all-time high in NQ, new all-time high in ES, obviously, and leave some nice excess for a down rotation. For fun. Right, FOMC excess. All right, what are we gonna do for the bond auction? Are you gonna hold your trade through?
Oh yeah. I'm committed.
You just have one left?
I have one left. That overnight high stat is too juicy, and honestly, I'd like to be rewarded for sitting here for well over an hour.
Let's look at the ES. The ES stats on that. We don't use back adjusted charts. As in me and AJ. You don't use back adjusted charts, right, AJ? I'm not.
No.
Okay.
No. I used to. And then you corrected me.
Can never remember where these overnight session, overnight range stats. Overnight high and low. Uh, 96.9% in the last 6 months.
Oh, we holding for this bond.
Yeah,
auction.
we know about the bond auction.
Yep. putting on my space helmet for the rocket ship. It's about to happen. Just kidding. I have no idea which way this is going to go. But I would like to
I
rock
like
a
it.
ship into my fill. The bond auction starts at 01. Do I have to wait 5 extra minutes?
Yeah, I think usually it's it takes a little while for the thing to take place or something. I don't. Clearly, we're macro bond or experts.
Mm-hmm.
Can you elaborate why you prefer non-adjusted view? I do understand the difference. Let's wait until this bond auction, and then we'll cover that.
I'm not sure are you looking at my charts right now?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you noticed this, but do you see how my moving average was support right here? Pick up on that? This little blue line. Do you see it?
You're breaking up. What'd you say?
I said, do you see how my moving average was support right here?
Are you there?
Yeah.
Can
you
anybody
see
else
that?
hear him?
Right? A little confluence with some order flow signals. Interesting. It's interesting how that works.
I love moving averages. I just don't use them.
Moving average labs. Discord coming soon. Leo is not invited.
Okay. What are we doing?
We are way. Oh, it's bond auction o'clock. I didn't even realize it. Let's see, book looks a little thinner.
Yeah, it's starting to get a little
They're waiting for
spazzy.
the macro boys to give it a grade. Hmm. Okay. Little popski. Bit of a popski. Their potential exhaustion signal, though.
I'm short at 30. Because why not?
I just added. This is aggressive. Don't follow me. These are not logical ads. These are vibe ads. Your mileage may vary.
It's sellers are really getting shut off in this chart. It looks really disgusting too. You look at your TPO.
Yes, I'm looking at my TPO.
Looks gross.
Mm-hmm.
But we knew that already. The legend 90s, the 80s, been bid since we started.
So I added up here.
I'm adding to my short.
Don't like what I'm seeing at the moment. Still a lot of absorption, a lot of offer delta, which is good if we can start getting some follow through. But if they're just going to pack it in here at 45s, I'm not sure if I want to stay too long. I'm cutting that. I'm cutting it. I gave it a shot. I mean, as long as this IB holds, I could see us still going. But
we can sweat my trade then.
There you go. Move over to Leo's chart. I'm flat.
What I was talking about a minute ago is this profile right here. Just how this 45-degree sellers, just continue to get shut off at the lows. Those would be good targets because if we get some momentum like through this, well, the 90s, like we've seen that, you can almost see the ledge on the whole day's profile now. But if we do get through this spot here, just highlighted, then I think we could see some acceleration. Just as a reverting trade. Still not seeing much initiation yet from the sell side. Just more like passive offer. Liquidity is just, sitting all through this range. But it doesn't work when the buyers keep buying, when there's still buy pressure. Am I seeing different breakouts? No, I don't think so. I just think we're looking at it from a different context. Like if this is potentially a decent high, like a decent amount of excess, then we could revert back through range. But yeah, I mean, clearly we've broken out from this consolidation range. So what I had earlier is this, this tight range. So, you have this consolidation and then clearly a breakout. I'm just playing the idea that this breakout could fail, but obviously it's not. So, I am going to give this 1 minute before I take myself out of this trade, and then we can talk about the back adjusted, non-back adjusted. I mean, obviously, yeah, we're in a breakout for like, here's the balance area from a high time frame. We've broken out of it. We're holding above last week's high on that ledge. So yeah, not disputing that for sure. Mars is Tesla is your only indicator. Yeah. All right, so yeah, well, I'm just not. This trade is clearly not working out. So I'm going to flatten that, and then let's see if I can switch. Here, AJ, 1 second. I'm going to switch. I don't think I can. Maybe we'll just pull up a chart. You guys can see this, right? I'm actually just going to pull this up on a daily time frame. Back adjusted versus non-back adjusted debate. Let's see. We'll just do one day. Oh, yeah, I'll fix the bars, Josh. I have not talked to FT71 about that. Does he have a different take? Can you see the bars now? Is it better? Okay, so this is a non-back adjusted chart. So it's a continuous contract. And I can turn on the... Where is that? Okay. So I can show the rollover dates. Let me give you a better look at that. He's very much for back adjusted. That's interesting. I would talk to him about it. Okay, so this has the rollover dates. So right here would indicate a rollover. Right here would indicate a rollover, et cetera, et cetera. This is just going to be my view on this for index markets. Could be very different for commodities because they roll, CL rolls every month. So for the purposes of this discussion, it's really just going to be about index markets. So NQ, ES, YM, RTY, etc. So basically, we can see that in this contract here, this would have been the September contract in this time frame. The all-time high was, what was that? Right there. We'll just call it 980. Okay. So we're going to mark that high at 980. But then let's look at a different high too. So let's look at this one back here. So this is a prior high from November. So we have two highs, non-back adjusted charts. So these would be the prices that these contracts traded. and then we'll mark a low so we can have that too. So we'll mark the high and the low of this contract being September. I'll change the price line color here so we know that was a low and these are highs. So my main argument here is that, especially when the contract difference became so wide, during rollover, those rollover gaps, that what happens during, that rollover period when you back adjust is that you are manually adjusting every single contract backwards to basically move, like, there's a good example right here. So this candle and all of the prices during that whole contract gets moved to fill this gap, right? And so what that means for me is that the technical analysis changes when you do that, because you're now referencing prices and levels that did not trade. So if I go now and change this to a back adjusted chart, so we'll do that now, we see that the 980 that I marked now became 21,211, and the low that I marked here became 17,591. Those did not trade, right? And these areas don't represent volume or prices that actually traded in the market. And then if I go back to this old high, this would be even farther off because of all of the adjustments that happen over time. So every single contract gets adjusted over time, and all that adjusting over time then, throws off the technical prices that traded or didn't trade. So when this, on a non-back adjusted chart, 16,757, that actually traded. That was the swing high for NQ where we traded. When we look at a back adjusted chart, it says that we traded 18,451. That's prices we did not trade, and that difference becomes really significant when you look at it over time, because you see now it's, here it's a small difference here and here, but then over time that difference becomes even greater. And obviously most of us are intraday traders, so this is kind of it's not that important of a conversation unless you're swing trading. You may have a different take on it, but personally I want to look at volume and prices that actually traded. I'm not on a not sure I can convert this to, let's just try. Give you another example. Total volume. No. Where's the text? I probably should do a better job of setting default stuff in Sierra, but I don't. Display volume calculation. What happens? Okay, so we have volume profile now. 50. Super dark. I want to get rid of that text though. Display volume and bars. There we go. Okay, so just have a volume profile. Change the colors to make it brighter so that everybody can see that. Again, this is a daily chart, so it's not going to have Value area. I don't know why Sierra's doing Sierra things. Let's change this to 15. Whatever. We can get an idea if I expand that out. Okay, so now we have a volume profile. We're looking at a back adjusted chart. If I duplicate this chart and then go back to non-back adjusted, do you see my volume profile change dramatically? And for me, that was a big I guess when I started to look at it, more in depth, which was about a year ago, I was looking at from a volume standpoint, because most of us use volume profile and analysis. And so here's your non-back adjusted here, showing prices and volume that actually traded. And then here's your non-back adjusted. Or wait, this is non-back adjusted, right? So non-back adjusted, sorry, I misspoke there, showing volume and prices we did trade, where non-back adjusted showing volume we didn't conduct and prices we didn't trade. So that kind of, for me, was the volume piece, artificially, basically all of the contracts, in each period, artificially the volume and the candle prices get moved to close the rollover gap, the difference between the rollover. So for me, that was why I stopped using back adjusted charts, because I want to reference prices that actually traded and volume that was actually done. It does get a little squirrely during rollover because, if you have a 100-point gap, you'll have, volume, like you'll have some volume gaps from time to time, but it's just for that short time period. When we start building, volume in the new contract, then, that kind of goes away. So like, this is a good example right there, because there was this is my non-adjusted. So when we had this, this tick compression is killing me, but whatever. There would be a gap here in volume. But at least you're not looking at volume that was artificial, or, not artificial, more or less made up or adjusted, right? Because the volume is pushed upwards, by the distance of whatever this gap is. $100 points or whatever. So that's why. When I don't understand those gap ups, I don't trade the next day on rollover. The gap up it's not a gap. It's just that you're trading a new contract that has a different price. And because of the interest rates and the way those are, all that, I don't know the math on it. I don't care to know the math on it. But, every contract at this point has traded, much higher as time goes on. That's something to do with carry risk or something like that. So yeah, I mean, the contract itself is going to have a higher price than the previous contract. But when you start back adjusting all those contracts, that's when you throw off your technical analysis, when you're looking at prior highs and lows and volume. I back adjust to eliminate the rollover gap, but I use SPY QQQ or SPX NDX for longer term levels. Keeps things nice. Yeah, that's not a terrible way to do it either. I think the main point on this is whatever you do to remain consistent. And if you use volume, if you do back adjust charts, then, stick with that on everything you do. If you do non-adjusted, stick with that. Yeah, I know, Josh. I don't care enough to get into the weeds of the cost of carry and the rates and the dividends and all that stuff. But I understand that.
I have a vet appointment.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll wrap it up here. Thanks for joining everybody, and we'll be here next